Israel and Hamas have begun peace talks aimed at bringing an end to the two-year war in Gaza in what's being hailed by Washington as the best chance at peace yet. The indirect talks fall on the second anniversary of the October 7 terrorist attacks. These are live pictures from the Nova music festival site in Israel, where friends and family are gathering in silent vigil to remember the hundreds of Israelis who were murdered by Hamas militants. Thousands in Australia have also marked the anniversary. We'll have the latest on the peace talks shortly and how Australia has paused to remember those killed. But we start with Eric Torchek, who begins our coverage from Jerusalem.
A solemn reminder of hundreds of lives lost. Portraits marking the Israelis killed at the Nova Music Festival 2 years ago, when Hamas militants stormed southern Israel, killing nearly 1,200 people and taking 251 hostage. Israel's retaliatory attacks on Gaza have killed more than 67,000 Palestinians, according to local authorities, and left much of the territory in ruins.
It's been 2 years that we are living in fear, horror, displacement and destruction.
No one has the privilege to say we are not aware of what is happening.
Swedish activist Greta Thunberg is among several hundred people who've been deported from Israel after they were detained while trying to break the country's naval blockade of Gaza.
We're about 200 nautical miles.
But a group of Australians on board the flotilla, including New South Wales man Surya McEwen, are yet to be released.
He's not an activist, he's not extreme, he is so simple, caring, he's everyday Australian. We are really worried about him because of his mistreatment.
The detainees have accused Israeli prison authorities of degrading and humiliating treatment. Mr McEwen told Australian officials he was slapped, had his arm dislocated and his head slammed into the ground. Another detainee, Juliette Lamont, said she'd been denied access to clean water and her medication. The Israeli Foreign Ministry has rejected the allegations as complete lies, insisting all of the detainees' legal rights, including access to medical care, were fully upheld.
Our consular staff on the ground in Israel are working around the clock to ensure that they're treated with dignity and respect, and importantly, that they're released and returned to Australia as quickly as possible.
The second anniversary of the Hamas attacks is being marked at the same time a new round of negotiations gets underway aimed at ending the conflict. The two sides are holding indirect talks in Egypt to discuss the US president's peace proposal.
I really think we're going to have a deal. We have a really good chance of making a deal, and it'll be a lasting deal.
Hope of a breakthrough after 2 long years of war. Eric Torchek, ABC News, Jerusalem.
And correspondent Matthew Doran joins us now from Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. Matthew, so the US president says these peace talks have a good chance of ending with a deal, but what are Israel and Hamas saying?
Joe, good evening. We're not hearing a whole lot from either side at this stage, and that's not surprising considering there has only been 1 day of these talks so far. What we are hearing from Egyptian state media is that the first day of these talks did progress well. Again, not surprising. Egypt, as a mediator in this war, wants to show that these negotiations are progressing. The other mediator in this conflict, Qatar, has again taken aim at Israel, saying that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government, that they are the real roadblocks to peace here.
And Matthew, this conflict has sent shockwaves far beyond Gaza's borders, including here in Australia. How are Israelis feeling on this second anniversary?
Well, Joe, not only as a result of those attacks on October 7, 2023, but everything which has happened in the 2 years since, this has really torn at the fabric of Israeli society. It's highlighted deep divisions in the community along religious, ideological, political and humanitarian lines. There is a deep anger towards the Netanyahu government for its conduct over the last 2 years, and also a fear of how this war is going to shape Israel and its international reputation into the future.
And ceremonies in Australia marking the October 7 anniversary have been overshadowed by pro-Hamas graffiti appearing in Melbourne. It's been strongly condemned by political leaders and members of the Jewish community who say they've been dealing with a rise in antisemitism.
An air raid siren in the Melbourne suburb of Collingwood, sounding at 6:29 a.m, the same time one blasted across the Nova Music Festival 2 years ago. This gallery is filled with images of the day and its aftermath that still haunt Australia's Jewish community.
There is solace in the community coming together. It's like a group hug, but there's this kind of still this feeling that of abandonment by governments and the wider community to the antisemitism that erupted after October 7.
And just a few kilometres away, 3 anti-Semitic graffiti attacks were revealed across Melbourne's inner north, praising both Hamas and the October 7 attack.
What a ridiculous statement that is. That October 7 event was horrendous.
I think that's just a terrible thing to write.
In Sydney, a man was arrested for allegedly pointing a gun at a synagogue. Many Australian Jews are deeply worried about the rise in anti-Semitic incidents since the war began.
The Australian government stands with Jewish people around the world who feel the cold shadow of history's darkest chapter in any act of anti-Semitism.
I make this clear to all Australians. Hamas is a listed terrorist organisation. Supporting Hamas is not free speech. It is a crime.
These past 2 years, our community has experienced everything from the terrifying to the absurd. We have seen criminals pose as activists, warmongers pretend to be peace campaigners.
In the past 2 years, Australian Jews have also seen Israel's government become an international pariah, its leaders indicted on war crimes, and Western governments, including Australia, recognise a Palestinian state. For the Palestinian community and its supporters, today was about nearly 60,000 Gazans killed by the Israeli military, what a UN commission has called a genocide.
Today's vigil is to grieve our dead, to allow us the right to mourn our dead, because we have lost a lot of loved ones over the past 2 years.
And it's like we can't even be given a day just to mourn the largest number of deaths on a single day since the Holocaust.
A ceasefire and hostage release may be on the way, but peace seems as remote as ever. Ben Knight, ABC News, Melbourne.